In the late hours of 11th July 2025, far away from the rugged ridges of Sahyadri Mountains, an important decision unfolded in Paris. At its 47th session, the World Heritage Committee inscribed the 12 formidable forts of the Maratha Empire onto the World Heritage list. Spread across Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, this remarkable collection of forts are now known as the Maratha Military Landscape of India and has become India's 44th World Heritage Site. With this addition, India proudly ranks in sixth in the world for the number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. But this was not an easy win. After years of back and forth, careful evaluation, revisions, the nomination was finally accepted last year. Celebrated now as a model of how military heritage, ecology, sensitivity go hand in hand. Hi, my name is Dishalu Walia, and I'm an archaeologist. I write on archaeology here at ThePrint. And in this week's column, I'll be talking about the great Maratha military landscape of India. For every site UNESCO recognizes as World Heritage, its Outstanding Universal Value or OUV is evaluated. It's central to the World Heritage Convention as it highlights the global significance of the site, not only in the present time but also in the future. It notes the uniqueness of the site while evaluating the state of preservation and capabilities of the stakeholder to uphold the inscription. However, the responsibility does not lie with the country where it's located. It becomes a global responsibility to ensure that the site's value is not lost. In the case of the 12 forts of the Maratha military landscape, the task to underline OUV was undertaken by the Archaeological Survey of India in collaboration with other stakeholders, including the Maharashtra State Department of Archaeology, in preparing the dossier. As per the statement, the military landscapes which developed between 17th century to 19th century and as an effort initiated by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in 1670 CE, which continued till 1818, this extraordinary networks of fort varying in hierarchy, scale, typology is a result of integrating the landscape, the terrain, the physiographic characteristics particularly distinctive of Sahyadri Range, the Konkan Coast, the Deccan Plateau, and the Eastern Ghats in the Indian Peninsula. According to the OUV, they represent Maratha Kingdom's envisioned military network in India. It also stressed in the dossier that the significance not only lie in the architecture but also in the innovation of connecting them into a unified operation defense system through its strategic network that exploits the unique cultural landscape. They are also the only largest concentration of forts integrated with the cultural landscape globally. Along with the forts, the buffer zones are also noted, uh, which constitute the most authentic, well preserved representation of the landscape. The nomination boundary of the 12 forts include the key features which are recognized by the UNESCO, the area that covers the main defense structure that showcase the Maratha uniqueness. The buffer zone around each fort are carefully designed to reflect both the immediate surrounding of the fort and the larger landscape of the related forts. These two includes the additional layer of the Maratha defense system, which were built strategically around the main fort. These outer areas include smaller forts and outposts that supported the coast structure. The buffer also considers the old trade route and natural features like hills, forests, terrains, which play a major role in the region's defense, culture, and economy. These natural elements, along with the man-made checkpoints known as the Met area, form the part of the larger Maratha military defense landscape of India. But what about its protection and management? Around this, in December 2024, when the ICOMOS was evaluating, ICOMOS stands for International Council of Monuments and Sites, was evaluating the sites for its submission, for its final submission in the World Heritage Committee. They submitted a short interim report, which were carried out by experts. The panel did consider the Maratha military landscape of India as a potential site to meet the requirements of OUB, although this has not yet been demonstrated during the evaluation. From the report, and the committee requested an exhaustive description of each forts, and also nominated and of the nominated components of within the dossier. It also asked the state party, which is the party which prepared the dossier, that is India, to justify its rationale behind selecting the forts, and also asked for explanation as to why the 12 forts were selected out of the initial 290 forts, and which later on were shortlisted to 14 forts in the tentative list. ICOMOS highlighted a very important concern. It concern was around not just the description of the forts and also other queries it asked, but also resolve around the impact, the negative impact, the intervention and the development happening around the fort, that has been taking place around the fort. These in the report they have mentioned about the inclusion of a steel tower, zonal panels around the fort. There's a ropeway, the support system structure at Raigarh Fort, also the pipeline, the electrical poles in the nominated areas. At Pratapgarh, a new construction was also highlighted, which was within the buffer zone. While at the Gingi Fort in Tamil Nadu, a National Highway 77 cuts through the fort, which raise important question on the impact of these developments on the site and also its integrity. Thus, in 2024, ICOMOS asked the state party to give a thorough site management plan for each nominated fort. In response, the state party provided enough material highlighting the competence of this, its competence to protecting the site, and also highlighted that out of 12, 8 forts are protected by ASI under the AMSR Act, and also the rest are protected by the Director of Archaeology and Museum, Government of Maharashtra. And also highlighted that for overseeing the management, an state level epics advisory committee was formed. But the question here rises after its inscription, that is it enough? Is it enough to put? Is it enough for a state management plan? Is it enough to protect these sites from further deterioration? And the concerns are natural, and a lot of people after the inscription are asking this question, because we have seen this happening to many sites which are inscribed as World Heritage, and their conservation and preservation just goes downhill. I will, here's another example of a similar kind of nomination, which is known as a serial nomination. The hill forts of Rajasthan, which were inscribed in 2013, were the first serial nomination of India, which means that a group of geographically dispersed monuments which are thematically connected, they span over various states and regions, were nominated for the inscription. Similar to the hill forts of Rajasthan, the Maratha military landscape also falls in the same category. These sites sort of requires a unified conservation framework and integrated collaborative work between the stakeholders. This increases their role in construction of future strategy that emphasizes coordinated governance and ecological sensitivity, active community involvement. Such efforts have to be long term for the protection of the site. We can see that within the hill forts of Rajasthan, there are forts such as the Kumbhalgarh, which I recently visited, are facing growing conservation concerns. The conservation measures taken there are not up to the mark. There's a use of cement at the site. The footfall is not well managed. And also, since there is a community living within the fort walls, one has to check the impact of this to the monument and its future, and its preservation in the future. These forts, there many forts in even the Chittorgarh fort, they are vulnerable to urban pressure and increased footfall. And on a global front, when a site is inscribed at UNESCO World Heritage Site, eventually with increased visibility, there's going to be increased footfall. So the question is, are the stakeholders ready to take this responsibility? Are they going to take in necessary steps in maintaining its integrity and significance? Now, we may not know, and we have to maybe wait for the future. For now, we can be happy that the Maratha forts, which have awaited for its recognition for centuries, and it's a long overdue recognition on a global front, we have to remember that heritage is not just for making global headlines or making nation proud. It is also for protecting, preserving, and to be passed on to generation. But this appeal is not only for to the stakeholders, but also to the people of India who visit these monuments. I'm sure that now they are inscribed. A lot of people have not heard of them, will be visiting them. But here is your responsibility. You have to be responsible and do your bit, even if it's in a small quantity. You may not undertake preservation or conservation, but what you can do is stop inscribing your names on the walls of these monuments. These are old monuments and they are prone to deterioration. Stop leaving your mark on it. Stop spitting pan on the corners. Stop throwing your litter around the monument. With this, I want to thank you for listening. And in the comment below, do mention how many forts out of these 12 magnificent forts you have visited, and also your concerns around conservation and preservation. And for more such interesting topics on archaeology, history, and also daily updates, do follow Print and follow them on all their social media platform. Thank you so much for listening, and I will come back with another such interesting story on archaeology. Thank you.